again on this video. Today I'm going to be talking about Testament's Practice What You Preach and give a little bit of history about Testament, as far as me being a fan. I saw the video for Over the Wall in 1987 on the Headbangers Ball, thought that was awesome. But it wasn't until 88 when I got to New Order after I saw Into the Pit. The video for Into the Pit was really cool and heavy. Now this, compared to the other ones, including, the Legacy and the New Order, this one might seem like a kind of a sellout album. It kind of was to an extent. But there's some really cool stuff on here. There's some really cool songs off here. Perilous Nations, Greenhouse Effect, Practice What You Preach, Sins of Omission. There's some really wicked guitar work on here. It might seem like it's slightly commercial. This was, they toned it down a touch. But the album cover is awesome. And this is where I really became a fan of Testament. It's September now, not that anybody cares, but I bought this tape back on August 1st, 1989, on cassette tape, of course, and it's kind of my August album. I wanted to do a review for this, but I got busy and doing other stuff and whatnot. I did not get a chance to, but it doesn't matter, you don't give a shit, it's September. So anyways, you don't care about that. I guess some other people might have seasons. I'll get into the whole seasons thing. Some other video, for instance, like October, I listen to Overkill and stuff like that. And in the winter time, I listen to specific albums because that's when I first got into them. And I always listen to tapes within season. Sometimes it's out of season. But anyways, back to Practice What You Preach. It's one of the most awesome tapes. The song right on it is wicked. I mean, the Greenhouse Effect. There are songs about the environment, like Greenhouse Effect. Specifically described. A lot of people like Testament. The only thing that kind of irritated me was Scott Ian from Anthrax. He said, and he's putting down Testament. He's bashing Testament. He said, when you hear Testament, you think Metallica. I thought they were a Metallica ripoff. No. Their other stuff might have been like that, but so was every other thrash metal band at the time between 84 and 87. They were doing thrash metal albums. Nobody had turned or toned down or anything yet whatsoever, especially back in those days. So 89, this was the first one, so we're like, hey, what are these guys doing? So some older fans didn't really like it. I was still relatively a new fan at the time, and I thought this album was awesome. So the band came out with the first album called Legacy, which was the original name of the band before Chuck Billy joined, for those of you who don't know. And of course Steve Vizzetro Souza was in the band. And the songs on here were wicked. First track is Deadly, Raging Waters. Epic, incredible songs. And there's even one of the parts on Over the Wall, I kind of call this the lightning lick, because there was just this wicked fast part. I was like, how in the world is he doing that? Even the video shows a quick little blurb of it. But you can't really tell specifically what he's doing. And of course, since then I've seen it and stuff like that in Tavisher. But it's just a wicked, incredible lick. It sounds just like this. Louis Clemente, and or of course the band, I'm not sure who started this, but it was what Testament was known for, choking the cymbals. In 1988, they came out with the next album, New Order, and it had Into the Pit, Disciples of the Watch, and just a bunch of really cool songs. It was just as thrashy as the first one in a ways. It was slight difference. What's cool about this album is it gives it that special feel to it. He had a lot of clean tone intros that he used off of the album. So that was really cool. I really like that. Okay, so Nobody's Fault they covered. So I remember when seeing the video, I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is cool. They mentioned it right away that it was an Aerosmith cover. I would have not have known that just by watching it. I just would have thought it was a weird kind of like slower rock song that they did. I never heard of the song Nobody's Fault before by Aerosmith. Not at that time, not back in '88. So anyways, I thought that one was cool. It was a cool cover. they at least covered, I guess, you know, a rock band. So it wasn't like they were covering something really corny or stupid. Where a lot of bands by between 87 and 1990 were writing songs like, I don't want to say political, environmental, social songs. Just songs that had meaning, songs other than the other garbage that was going on or that other bands were singing about, which was, I guess, sometimes okay or good, but they just wanted to touch on other issues and discuss other stuff. They were kind of limited since they, you know, the whole concept of the thrash bands, they weren't going to sing about girls and partying like the glam metal bands did, so they had to kind of just focus on other things. And when you're focusing on a bunch of these other things here, you have to really, okay, well, let's select from all of these things and use as much subject matter as you can. Okay, within a year, once again, 88, 89, 1990, I mean, these bands were pumping out albums every year, every other year. It was awesome back then. They were just coming off albums like crazy. So by 1990, they came out with Souls of Black. And it was released on October 9th, 1990. And I got it on my birthday, October 11th, 1990. And I remember this too, because I was like, oh, I want to get the New Testament tape. And then I was like, well, I got to work today. And then the next day I forgot what it was. And it was like, well, my birthday's like on Monday or something. I forgot exactly, but I just wanted to get it on my birthday. So I wound up doing it. I just waited a couple days. I got it on my birthday, October 11th, 1990, and I wasn't disappointed. The album on this had a weird, kind of clean, sharp tone where like the bass and treble were like turned down and the treble was turned up more. I don't know how to specifically describe it, but there was definitely a different tone on this than to the last several albums. But I liked it. Falling Fast, Face in the Sky. So of course Falling Fast was one of those songs that what they did was, I'm guessing they did it on purpose, they were like, alright, well, let's write a song that's, you know, against suicide, that's the opposite of what a lot of dumb people were thinking. A lot of dumbasses were thinking that heavy metal causes suicide, which is a bunch of horseshit anyways. But what they wanted to do, I guess, was to write a song about that and kind of, I guess, make it an anti-suicide song. There's several more out there which I'm going to touch on. I'm going to get to, you know, in my later videos. So I thought Souls of Black was just like a really sharp, bright album. Let's get two. Of course, then we have to wait 2 years for the next album, The Ritual. Thought it was kind of an interesting cover, weird odd cover. I thought it was kind of neat. So the first song, Electric Crown, was the first video of it, and I thought it was neat because I just started taking lessons, you know, several months before this. I was playing my guitar, and you know, was really sucking, and I've been playing for like not even a year. And then I'm like, oh hey, I said, you know what I should do? I started taking lessons, and then so when I was with my guitar teacher, he goes, all right, you tuned up? He goes, sounds like your G is out. I go, really? You could tell this guy was pretty good. His name is Craig. And he says, yeah. So I said, okay, I'll tune it. So I'm doing the 5-fret thing, 5 to open string, 5 to open string. And then, of course, you go on the D on the 4th string and hit the open B. Anyways, so he goes, why are you doing it like that? I said, oh, it's the way I tune. Isn't that the way you tune? He goes, kind of, but he goes, it's not very accurate. He goes, well, it's been working for me. So anyways, he says, you got to tune by harmonics. Should I tune by harmonics? And I'm like, no. So rapid and wavy is a complete mistake, and you're like way off. However, the point I'm getting at here is, Alex Skolnick was such an awesome guitarist. He, of course, I guess, purposely did that and was like, yeah, you know what, that's going to hit those artificial harmonics in there, and it's going to just give that little effect. Instead of using some kind of wavy effect, like some kind of phaser pedal or what the hell have you, decide to hit the harmonics and let it ring out of tune wicked, and it just fit perfectly in the song. It was awesome. And I was just like, yeah, I thought that was really neat how he did that. See? he incorporated that into the song by playing two notes that were just way out of tune, or the strings out of tune. 1994, okay, a couple years down. 1994, Low, new guitarist James Murphy, and then new drummer John Tempesta. So it's not that Louis Clemente was out of the band and Alex Skolnick was out of the band. Yeah, Alex Skolnick was out of the band for like several years there. 10 years or whatever, until 05, from like probably like 90 something, 94 to like 05. So a good 10, 11 years he was out of the band. So I guess James Murphy was guitarist. I forgot what other band he was in. Forgive me, I'll put it on the bottom here. Because I forgot James Murphy was in the band, and I forgot what band it was in. What band he was in. But anyways, I didn't mind Low. Low was okay. I didn't love it. 1997, Demonic. I think the one with dog face gods. Demonic. I didn't like that one. I did get that one too. I've been buying them, and I was like, man, I don't like this. Something about it. The Gathering in 1999. I think I got that. Yeah, I must have got that one. I got some kind of like single off it somehow, some CD single. Had Dave Lombardo on drums, The Gathering 1999. I really wasn't wild about it. It was interesting how Dave Lombardo joined Testament. Like I said, throughout the 90s, and by this time, John Tempesta being in Exodus, and Paul Bastoff being in Exodus, and then Forbidden, and then of course Dave Lombardo being in this band, and then of course, then joining Testament. Got a lot confusing there. Once they started changing up lineup changes and all that other stuff. The formation of Damnation in 2008. This was a cool one because it marked the return of Alex Skolnick and Greg Christian on bass, Alex Skolnick on guitar. Zetro, Steve Souza, did co-write like 6 songs off of the album. This was an awesome album. This was a great comeback album. And it was such an awesome, epic album. It was a comeback album, which what I think made it a great album is that Zetro co-wrote 6 of the songs off of it, including Evil Has Landed. Do it over again. And of course, including The Evil Has Landed, which is an awesome, epic tribute to September 11th. It was a great song in that respect.
Towers got hit. Steel bird with wings of destruction. While the building split, the skyline has been deconstructed. So many people killed. 2,974.
2020, Titans of Creation, City of Angels, Night of the Witch. Because I really don't know what happened to Louis Clemente, but Alex Skolnick and Eric Peterson and Chuck Billy, and of course Greg Christian make up a majority of Testament. And what I'm used to and what I like. What I like about Testament is that they're one of the few bands out there, the metal bands, that didn't switch singers. I know I'm going to put a whole list here because I'm going to have to try to think of them, but all of these guys, of course, with Metallica and Megadeth, but aside from them, Anthrax, Testament, what I've always loved about Testament. During their hiatus and during any of their downtimes, they didn't switch vocalists. I can't picture Testament with a different singer. I mean, just like with Exodus and all those other bands, you can picture with them without another singer, but then the band members went ahead and got different singers. That's what I liked about Testament. They never got a different singer. Chuck Billy was always in the band. And yeah, that's just it. Like I said, I've said this plenty of times before. I'll say it again. With the thrash metal bands, when you hear the singer, you know it's that band. Just like with any of the other 80s metal bands. I mean, you hear the singer, you know it's them. Testament's an awesome band. Testament is gaining popularity. Oh, the formation of Damnation. Here we go. Speaking of popularity, I forgot to add this tidbit in here. And I'm going to read it. I don't give a shit. 84,000 copies in the U.S. and 84,000 copies in the U.S. and 300,000 copies sold worldwide of the formation of Damnation. So that's kind of surprising. I think that Testament would be selling that much worldwide. And there are, of course, like 84,000 fans within the U.S. I mean, geez, when we were listening, we knew a handful of people that actually liked Testament, but that was it. So it's good. So Testament is on the rise, and they're getting more popular. They definitely are more popular than they were 10 years ago. People, and you checked out these other great American metal thrash bands that are legendary now and that were just pioneers and incredible bands back then. Thanks for watching.